We need one more commissioner.
Why?
Well, I mean, I guess
We're expecting.
we're expecting one more.
Oh, we're expecting one, okay.
You should know where the potholes are by now, so it shouldn't
Yeah.
have fallen in one.
He may be in one. Yeah, is Commissioner, is he stuck in a pothole? Okay.
There he is. The door wouldn't let me in up there. You gotta help me out. Good morning.
It's a test. All
I know.
commissioners, if they can get through that, get in the door,
Well, I was out with my guys and girls this morning. So.
good
You
deal.
had to sprint all the way around the building to get in, or did you bang real loud?
I banged.
Good for you.
I was not the only one the card wouldn't work. Tracy.
Recording in progress.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Let's call court to order. Today is Tuesday, December the 3rd, 2024, 9 a.m. Proof of posting, please.
The agenda was posted on Wednesday, November 27, 2024 at 3:20 p.m.
All right, thank you. At this time, let's stand briefly for a moment of silence, and then we'll have a pledge to the flags. All right. At this time, if there's any members of the public who want to speak to the court on business matters, please do so at this time. All right, seeing none, I'd like to go to, under proclamations and resolutions, under D1 is proclamation honoring Mr. Elias Gutierrez for exemplary integrity and service. All right, Commissioner Wilson.
Yeah, situation that happened before I was elected, but a citizen out there came to me and said he lost his wallet, and a gentleman knocked on his front door, and it was Mr. Gutierrez. So he looked at the driver's license and found the address, and it was Brad Gooden.
Oh, Brad?
Yeah, so Brad, I want to honor the folks in McLennan County, the people that work for us.
So come
do a
forward,
great
Mr.
job.
Gutierrez. And you can,
Read it.
yeah,
You should have brought your family with you. No, come over here so we can read it properly. This is proclamation of the Clinton County Commissioners Court honoring Elias Gutierrez for exemplary integrity service. Whereas McLennan County Road and Bridge Precinct 2 is committed to fostering a culture of excellence, integrity, accountability, recognizes that the importance of positive citizenship and believes significant honor in individuals who positively affect the community which they work and live in. Mr. Gutierrez is a dedicated and dependable member of McLennan County Precinct Bridge 2, demonstrated extraordinary commitment to these values and an act of honesty and character, reflecting the standards of moral integrity of the civic responsibility exceeds expectations and serves inspiration to all, and I'm very proud of him. With dignity performing the duties, Mr. Gutierrez discovered a misplaced wallet within his precinct. Without hesitation, he immediately actions to locate the rightful owner. The wallet was returned to the owner. The contents were all there, of course, they would be. Committed to his right to foster the community through the thoughtful, selfless act, serving the shining example, the values of whole McLennan County, reflecting the character, dedication, outstanding individuals who serve Road and Bridge and Precinct 2. Mr. Gutierrez's actions remain in a vital role employees play not only to serve in our county, but also inspiring others due to their integrity and compassion. Now it is therefore proclaimed, the McLennan County Commissioners Court wish to honor, we shall recognize Mr. Gutierrez for his exemplary actions and unwavering dedication, commitment, service to Waco, McLennan County, Texas, and urges all citizens to join us in recognizing the value of contributions he's made to our community. It is therefore proclamated, this proclamation be made a permanent part in the minutes of McLennan County Precinct Commissioner Court 2. She's taking her notes. You're welcome to stay if you want to, or you can go do what you gotta do. Thank you. All right, thank you.
Congrats.
Yeah, congratulations. Thank you for all that you do in our community. I'd make a motion that we approve that proclamation.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. All right, thank you. Under the consent agenda, I'd like to recommend we pull items E10A, and I will pull with no action on that. Is there any other recommended pulls? If not, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of that pull?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass. Okay. Like to go to agenda item M7. This is the Greater Waco Sports Commission presentation. It's a recap of the 2024 events. So I have Mr. Mike Vogelaar here. How are you, sir?
Great. Thank you for having me. Okay, I've got a couple printouts. These are small, so these are more so supplementary.
Yeah.
I've got the presentation
Okay.
in front. I wanted to be able to, again, thank you for the opportunity to be able to be here, to be able to share a little bit about what the Sports Commission has been doing this past year. The county has been extremely supportive, especially during my tenure here. And so just wanted to make sure that you guys are aware of just the impact that we're making, the progress that we're making. We're fortunate to have Commissioner Smith on our board. And so he's been able to be in attendance on our board meetings and our strategic planning sessions, but wanted to just make sure that the rest of the Commissioner Court is aware of the progress that we're making.
The Greater Waco Sports Commission exists to
Here's a quick little video that we've made here recently.
through sport. We are able to accomplish this through 3 channels: identifying and hosting diverse sporting events, developing healthy youth, communities, and family, and advocating for first-class facilities here in McLennan County. From planning to execution, our partnerships with local and national entities ensure every event is a win for athletes, spectators, and businesses alike. And we are having a blast doing it. Our proven track record on the economic impact for this community is tremendous. We're boosting local businesses and spirit by filling hotels and restaurants. And we're getting to expose people to the amazing community that Waco is, all while fostering a healthier community physically, mentally, and spiritually. Join us and be part of the action. Whether you're a sports enthusiast, local business, or event organizer, there's a place for you with the GWSC.
So this is just a nice little teaser reel that we've been able to create with a very recognizable voice that represents this community really well. And so, again, that just goes to further show the impact and also the branding that we're doing here in this community. So I want people to be able to know who the Sports Commission is and what we do. And so one of the other initiatives from the marketing committee this year is to be able to create a tagline. And so our tagline is empowering the heart of Central Texas through sport. And we do that through 3 different pillars, which is developing healthy youth, communities, and family, supporting impactful events, and advocating for first-class facilities. And then a little bit of a background, Commissioner Wilson, this is our first time to be able to interact. So we were founded in 2015. We're a 501c3. The county, the city of Waco, the Greater Waco Chamber of Commerce, as well as a few other different surrounding cities have been extremely supportive of us in helping us achieve our missions. We've got two different community committees, a marketing community outreach committee and a facilities development committee. And then we've also grown our staff this summer. We added a third full-time staff employee. And then we've got 3 grad assistants from the Baylor Sports Management Master's Program. And then we've got some terrific dedicated board members. And again, I've introduced a number of these in other different speaking sessions. But here's just a quick list. And again, we've got our own Commissioner Smith here. As far as in 2023, 2024, kind of in this last 12-month time period, here's a list of the different events that we've supported in one way or another. So again, this is us being able to help promote, expand, retain, recruit. There's some type of influence that we're having on these events here in this county that helps deliver economic impact and also a healthier community. As far as events that we created, we put on a glow run during the Eclipse weekend to be able to help promote travel and tourism, but then also a lot of community pride for that event. So here's some different quick shots of the glow run. Again, putting on an event like this, we had 600 athletes and participants, it's a large undertaking. We also had the Donut Dash, which was partnered with Camp Finfo to be able to help create awareness about their property, their resources, not only for the local community, but also for folks that are coming from out of town. Great board members and volunteers. Again, activating the youth, that's really something that we have been focused on, and we want to be able to grow in our focus going forward. And then we also had Beast of the Brazos. This is the open water swim. It's the 1.2 and the 2.4 mile swim. This has grown in popularity over the last 5 years. This is the 5th year that we've had this event. The first year we had 82 participants, which doesn't sound like a lot. And this last year we had 300. And so percentage increase for such a niche event is really, really impressive that we're continuing to expand. And that's because of the positive reputation of how well organized this event is. So we also have partnered with Waco Wild West, which is the Skittles bike ride. They had 1,700 cyclists the next day. So we've essentially created this training weekend a month before the Ironman for people to be able to come in, stay Friday night all the way through Sunday, and then be able to participate in both these different events. Here's some other different shots. We also had Iron Kids. So again, as far as a recap of some of the big events, Ironman is definitely what we're most known for as far as impactful events here in the area, but we also were able to sponsor and be able to bring in Iron Kids for the 2nd year in a row. And so we had over 300 kids participate in this event. And so, again, happy to be able to help support local, but then also visiting families. I know as a father of 4, whenever we're traveling and we're doing an event, or if it's my wife and I competing in an event, we're dragging the kids along for our thing. And so it's always great for them to be able to build a positive memory, because if they have a positive memory of a community that they visited, then we're more likely to go. And so for us to be able to create a platform and an opportunity for them to be able to have this shared experience with their parents competing, that's really a strategic move that we've found to be very valuable. In 2023, Ironman 70.3 Waco, we had a little over 2,000 registered participants. Just because you register doesn't mean that you show up. Whether you get sick, you defer the race, you get injured, whatever it is. So we had close to 1,700 athletes that competed in 2023. In 2024, this past October, we sold out at 2,700 registered athletes, and we had 2,300 check in. So that's tremendous. I would say that over the last 3 years, the reason that this race has grown is for a few different strategic reasons. We are not waiting on the Big 12 and conference realignment and schedule releases. Now that we're only working on one event, it being on a Sunday, it could still be on a Baylor football weekend. Our preference is not to be, but it still could theoretically. So by being able to release the date of the event, it allows people to be able to sign up for it earlier on and to be able to plan for that event to be their race. Also, Nancy Goodnight has been tremendous in promoting this event. I can't tell you, I have a few different screenshots as well of people on Facebook specifically saying the impact that the race director, Nancy Goodnight, has made on them, the personal touches to be able to help, again, showcase what McLean County residents are all about. Here's some different snapshots of Ironman. Again, extremely proud of this event. The hoteliers say that this is probably the biggest singular hotel impact as far as what they see. And so that makes me extremely proud. Here's the finishers across the finish line. And then this is a quick snapshot. This is 3 of the 8 Team Waco athletes. These are county residents that we put together scholarships for that want to be able to compete in the Ironman. And so they have to be a county resident, and applications just opened for 2025. So if you or anybody that you know is interested in competing, these scholarships are valued at over $6,500. Reagan in the middle right here, incredibly proud of her. She would self-declare herself as a large woman, but her goal is to be able to complete the Ironman. So her first races, I think she was close to 380 pounds. She has lost a tremendous amount of weight, but more importantly, she has pushed herself and stood at the starting line 4 different times. And so Reagan's inspired me that if she's willing to be able to do that, what excuse do I have? What fears do I have? Robert on the right-hand side, tremendous veteran, 100% disabled. As far as just some of the different challenges that he's had 8 back surgeries, just recently had one here in November again, and also 2 knee surgeries. He did the entire swim with just his legs and kicking on his back. So he walked and ran, but his goal was to be able to do this, just to be able to bring awareness to the suicide rate for veterans and the depression. And so he is part of that community. I want to be able to bring exposure to, those sad sides. These are the people that represent this community in McClellan County. So we're extremely excited to be able to launch our 4th year of this program, again, starting here in the spring. As far as travel for Ironman, these are dots of where everybody came from. So again, great representation, not only of the United States, but also being able to bring global visitors.
That's amazing. That one snapshot right there.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing.
So to be able to get more accurate data, we did man the booth, and I and our board members literally with the iPad interacted with every single person that came out, asking them to fill out a 60-second survey. I didn't want to rely on Ironman and their email blast and whoever would respond to that. And so we were able to collect data from 474 entries. And so that represents close to 20% of the people that participated. And so some of the highlights of it, we had 92% of people were there just for Ironman, but again, 7% of people were there for both those events, Iron Kids and Ironman. As far as, is this your first time to Waco? 48% of people, it was their first time to Waco, which is fantastic. And then the 53%, this is not their first time. That's also great because those are the repeat people. And so you're gonna be able to get them in the future to be able to come back again and again and again. How many nights are you staying as far as our data compared to previous years? All of these increased, the duration increased for their stays. And so last year, we calculated roughly about 3,700 hotel room nights. This year, we calculated 5,200 hotel room nights, not including staff. And so we're talking about 5,400 hotel rooms. Next year, we're looking to be able to try and expand our field from 2,700 registrations to 3,000 at the point of sellout. And we've also released the date already for next year, so we've been able to do that earlier and earlier. So I think that we'll be able to increase the impact of this event. So as far as a quick highlight for 2024, over 2,300 athletes, over 5,200 hotel rooms, economic impact of $6 to $8 million for this community. Money spent on food alone, close to $750,000, and then we were able to give money to volunteer groups through the Ironman grant as well. So again, impacting the local nonprofits here as well. As far as a recap of 2024, the Sports Commission, we tracked and measured that we were able to help impact 16,000 hotel room nights. We created 3 different events, as I highlighted before, those 8 Team Waco scholarship athletes. We partnered with over 75 local businesses in some form or fashion for our different events. That is a lot of partnerships that we have had to be able to create individually. And so that's led us to a total economic impact of $24.8 million for this area through sports. So again, sports is a big deal, and we want to be able to help continue to make it a big deal, not only economically, but again, for developing healthy communities, youth, and families. The next way that we do this, that we're really excited about for here in 2025, This is something that our board has talked about since last year, and we've been really working hard at developing this new event, the signature event for this community. We're not losing focus of supporting impactful events and the economic impact. We understand that that is the driver of things, but at the same time, as a nonprofit, our goal is to be able to help bring this community together and to be able to provide new and exciting opportunities, not only for the current businesses here, but also for businesses that are looking to be able to move here and locate here. Hey, what do you have for our employees to be able to do and participate in? And so what we're developing is the Waco Sports Corporate Cup, presented by Ascension Providence. So this is a new event that's going to be taking place on June 7th. And so it is essentially an adult field day and a company picnic. And so it's going to be highlighting the businesses in this area of McClellan County, and we want and need strong business community support. If we can partner with these businesses, then they can know about what we're doing, and we can create more volunteering opportunities and networking, and then we can also help create more awareness about the events that we've got coming up. So to give you a quick little highlight, this is a video in San Antonio that we filmed this summer. KWTX, Josh Young, the general manager there, came down with us, and he filmed this content for us.
Generations and what we're about and what we stand for. And Ted Lasso was one that we immediately came up with. And our amazing marketing VP, she came up with how we can incorporate that into our colors and our what we stand for our team. And so that's where we got our Ted Lasso Generation Soccer jerseys, and that's where our soccer team is here. And that's what we use with get the employees excited and with get the crowd here and culture excited about as well.
So going down there to San Antonio, I talked to a number of the different businesses that participated in it, asked them, why do you do this? Why is this important to you and to your corporation? And so they were very clear. This is about team building. This is about activating their staff. This is about being able to bring the staff outside of the normal hours and to be able to do something fun. And so what I've learned here in this McClellan County community is that there is a lot of competitive business owners and businesses here. And so what I'm really excited about is being able to kind of create this platform to be able to help build a health and wellness program for different organizations. Region 12 is actually one that's already signed up and is being a partner because they said, hey, we're looking for a health and wellness program. You're giving us something turnkey. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to do any planning. We just need to essentially show up and have fun. That's what we're trying to do as a sports commission, is create a fundraiser for the sports commission that fits our niche and is not another golf tournament and is not another gala and something unique that doesn't exist in this community, and then again can help the economic community. So June 7th, 2025 at MCC, it's going to be that Saturday morning from 8 to 1 o'clock. We're going to have tailgating, the barbecue grilling, t-shirt design contest, 3 different division classes, so the small mom and pop businesses don't have to go against the large corporations here in this community. You get to compete against similar sized businesses. And so this is something where I would love to be able to extend the invitation to the county. You guys have a lot of different departments, a lot of people that work really, really hard here, and you want to be able to have fun with each other. And so this is an opportunity if the county wants to be able to participate and be able to sign up and to be able to have their staff and their different departments compete. We're going to be approaching the different cities as well, and again, corporations and organizations. As far as the events, we're partnering with Light Up Unbound Now, anti-human trafficking organization here locally, and we're helping put on their Light Up the Dark 5K fun run in April. So participation goes towards points towards the corporate cup. We're putting on a 3-on-3 basketball tournament and 3-point shooting contest at Midway ISD. And then that Saturday morning in June, we'll have football throw, 4x100 relay, tug of war, dodgeball, golf chipping, cornhole, can jam, and a half-K walk. Here's a layout of what it looks like at MCC. And then we've got photos again from San Antonio, what the tailgating looks like. And that's really the big part of this, is going down to San Antonio. I was always focused on the competition side of things, but it was the tailgating. That was where the community you felt, right? And the environment and the magic and the energy. And so we're excited to be able to help bring that to MCC for this community. Here's dodgeball, can jam, cornhole, and then again, the different trophies and then championship belts for best tailgate. You had your different winners. And so again, we're trying to build a new tradition here for McLennan County with the Corporate Cup. So registration opened November 1st. We're looking for different partnerships. Happy to be able to sit down and visit with anybody. So if the county has a representative that they want to be able to talk through this event, happy to be able to visit with HR or whoever it would be. And then if anybody's listening online, you can go to our website and you'll see that you just need to go in that top right corner to corporate teams, and that's where you can sign up. So that's a little bit of a snapshot of what we've done this past year and one of our big initiatives for next year. Happy to answer any questions.
I'd make a few observations.
Yes, sir.
One, volunteer side, you got a large group of dependable volunteers, and I don't know if y'all select like a volunteer of the year or maybe a couple or whatever, but if you do and you want us to recognize them countywide, we'd be glad to do that. A good example is recognizing a gentleman, Mr. Gutierrez, that was provide a positive impact to our community. So volunteers do a great thing in there. The other thing, just remember our investment with the Sports Commission, we get a return off of it when he talks about the hotel dollars that come back in, because we get 2% of the hotel tax go towards the venue. Mm-hmm. And, lastly, the only thing I noticed, I looked down through the events, if there's anything I could compete in, I noticed you don't have the Pillsbury Doughboy race.
Well, we had the donut dash, so.
Oh, well, yeah, okay.
And we've got our glow run, and we've got a half-K walk, right, for the
Walk.
the Corporate Cup Championship, or Corporate Cup. So we'd love to be able to have you guys out there.
Half-keg walk.
I thought he said half keg too.
No, a half-K, yeah, 0.5. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's basically around the building.
Well, extend our appreciation to all the volunteers and the board, and appreciate everything you do.
I'm thinking on that events bike, instead of the 4x100 meter, it ought to be 100x4 meter. Okay?
It's like, wait a second.
Yeah, that's a lot of handoffs.
It's a lot of handoffs.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, question real quick.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing financially? Are you holding your own, or are you?
Yeah, that's a great question. I will say that that's one of the things is that we're working on, right, is being able to try and diversify ourselves financially. We've had tremendous support from the county. The TPID has been extremely supportive. Obviously, you guys have probably heard the city of Waco is looking at some future plans for how they support different outside agencies, and so that's just been something that's been on our radar. So we would like, my whole goal is to be able to show a proof of concept and be able to show, hey, if I can be trusted with a little, then I can do a lot. If I can be trusted with a lot, I can even do a lot more. I want to be a good steward of the resources that have been entrusted to us. And so I have more and bigger, grander dreams. And so I'm really proud of what our team, our staff, our board, our volunteers have been able to help us do. So we're in a better financial situation than we have been in the past. But it's only because we want to be able to do more. To be frank and honest, the next program that I want to do is an after-school youth programming. There's a really successful program down in San Antonio called iPlay. And so I think that if we can partner with the right local agencies here, not recreate everything from scratch, right? Don't reinvent the wheel, but find the right partners and be able to add on to what they're already doing in a really meaningful way. That's what we want to be able to do. But when you have 3 people now, this is a lot, right? And we're still trying to work on recruiting big businesses. I'm working on some high school championship events to keep it a little bit more vague, to try and help bring to this area. We just helped Baylor with the tennis championships that they had last week, and then they've got the volleyball first and second round tournaments that are this weekend, and so helping them with some of the different hosting opportunities there. So there's small things that are popping up here and here that we want to be able to help fill in those gaps that don't necessarily have a financial and a monetary return, but that's where we just want to be able to continue to be good partners, because I think if we show that we can do that, then people want to be able to step in and be able to help partner more.
Thank you.
Rowing championship.
Yeah.
Now, what's in the works?
That's a great question. I would probably defer to the Waco Rowing Center to be able to answer those specifics. I will be able to tell you.
There's still something going on.
That is the intent. I'll let them kind of answer those specifics. As far as November, though, they did host the regatta in the Brazos River here, and had another number of teams come out and compete. Our staff, that next Monday morning, all 6 of us with the grad assistants, we were out there undoing the docks and unscrewing the bolts and putting them on the pallets, because those are the things that people don't really see, is all the stuff after the fact. And so those are just some of the ways, tangible, that we want to be able to help impact those events as well. So, and that was a very strong, good event.
Okay, well, Mike, we appreciate it very much.
Yeah.
Unless there's any other questions or comments, I'd make a motion, we approve his report for recording purposes.
I'll second.
I have a motion second. Any other discussion?
Just to say, Judge, from the first time that I think Rick Tullis walked in here talking about Waco Sports Commission to today, is quite remarkable.
Yeah.
How long is this, have you been going on? Did I miss that earlier?
Yeah, so we were founded in 2015, and we had one-person staff until 2020.
Oh, wow.
And then I came on board in June of 2021. And so, yeah, been really excited about the progress that we've been able to make.
Well, I'm excited too, and, you know, I'm a motorsports guy, so,
Let's talk.
you know, motorsports, they say you're not an athlete sometimes, but, you know, we have a huge motocross out here in Precinct 2. And of course, I think Will has the Heart of Texas Speedway. They had a 50,000 to win race here not too long ago. So, and we have the karting motorsports track. So think about in the big range later on if you can see something like that, because they bring a lot of people into town too, especially the motocross. And this 50,000 to win dirt race out here in Elmont, it brought a lot of folks into town, so.
Well, again, that's where I'm not an expert in all these things, right?
Yeah.
We got robotics competition and surfing
Sure.
competition and all these other different things. I've learned a lot. And so that's where I want to be able to partner with those folks. So
Yeah.
if you've got a contact there that
Yeah.
you would be able to
Sure.
get me in touch with.
And the
then we
Waco
can see how we
Surf
can
Park,
amplify it.
good Lord, it's booming in the surf park. So
Yep.
that's in my precinct, so, yeah.
Sports Center.
Yeah,
You have to participate in any event that's in your precinct.
man,
We've partnered with Waco Surf on a number of events, including a Mother's Day run, and they're one of our partners in participating in the Corporate Cup.
as
So,
long as AMR is on standby, we're,
exactly.
Always.
yeah.
There's a
Okay,
reason
we
Ascension Providence is a partner.
have a motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. Thank you, Mike.
Mike, thank you.
I'd like to go to items G13. This is discussion or action regarding renewal of administrative service agreement and stop-loss policy agreement with United Healthcare Services, aka also known as McLennan County Group Health Plan. So I think we have Ty Petty online here. Good morning, Ty.
Morning, Judge. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Commissioners, sorry I couldn't be there in person with you today. I apologize if I sound a bit like a frog. I came down with a little something over Thanksgiving, so I figured carrying is not sharing with you all. So I wanted to join virtually. So I believe Anna has my slides as far as your regular renewal goes on your ASO. Nothing significant to report there. It's a standard renewal for you all, but we did want to talk about the stop loss with the court this morning. Okay, so next slide, please. First of all, I want to highlight and just kind of refresh the court on what your individual stop loss is. I heard a good analogy recently. A lot of insurance folks would cringe at me for saying it, but I think it is the best way to relate it. essentially your individual stop loss is, if we think in terms of like our auto insurance policy, which is something we're all familiar with, the best way I can describe it is this is kind of like your deductible in that regard for your health plan, right? Since you're a self-funded client, you're on the hook for first dollar in your claims. And so what the individual stop loss is it funds or reimburses the county for anything past that limit that you all are on the hook for. And so what it matters, right, is it shields you all from the catastrophic claims. It helps you provide predictability because you're paying the stop loss premium, which is a fixed number. And then, enables you to offer the quality benefits plans that you do without taking on excessive risk to those plans. Any questions over what your ISL is so far?
Any questions?
No, we're gonna talk about the different options though, right?
Correct. That's
Okay.
that's the next slide right here.
All right, let's go for it.
So you're currently at a one in the business, we call it a pooling point, right? But this is that individual stop loss deductible. You're currently at $175,000, which means that the county is on the hook for the first $175,000 in claims. So this is your current plan, and then we worked with UHC on a straight renewal for that. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get them off that 13.9% number. But I will highlight that that's what in the business we call a leverage trend, which essentially we cautiously and kind of a low end number is tell groups every year to plan on a 15% increase to your individual stop loss, just because nothing medical is getting cheaper over the years. And as you can see, you all came in under that 15% standard number. We have groups that we recommend plan 20, 25%. So you all are overall performing well, but it's you all have had a rough year when it comes to the high dollar claimants and the stop loss reimbursements. And so for the pricing exercise, we went ahead and asked UHC to also quote us at a $200,000 deductible and then a $225,000 deductible. And as you can see, the premium goes down as you increase that pooling level. But the other side of that coin is that you're taking on that additional risk every time you go up in the pooling level. And so my recommendation would be, while 13.9% isn't easy, it's still a good renewal, and I would recommend staying at your $175,000 pooling point, simply because, again, you're taking on additional risk, and we have no crystal ball to say that your population's going to be healthier next year or less healthy, but you're taking on the additional risk. And then the other side of that is, when we increase that pooling point, it's very difficult to go backwards. Traditionally, we don't see groups able to afford going back down. So say you went up to 200,000 this year, you had a good year, you wanted to go back to 175, we probably wouldn't see a competitive renewal to go back down in that number as well. So the longer that we can stay at these lower end of deductibles, we like to advise clients to do that, just because it's hard to move backwards.
Questions?
Yeah, Ty, you, and maybe I didn't hear you correctly, but I thought you said that we had several claims this year that had gotten over the stop loss.
You did, actually, and I have a slide for that coming up.
Okay, because I know at budget we were doing extremely well.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you did go above and beyond on some claims, and I think it's not the next slide. If you will, Anna, go to the next slide. So this one, we just did a little analysis for you to show how many large claimants would trigger those higher individual stop loss levels and where it would erode the savings, right? So if you go up to the $200,000 stop loss, you could absorb about 4 more high dollar claimants before all the premium savings would be eroded. If you go up to the 225, you could absorb 3 before you hit the break even point on that. But like I said, I think your stop loss premium, even though you've had kind of a rough year in the high dollar claimants, you're being driven by leverage trend, and you're still below that 15% that we tell groups just to plan for is kind of a standard number every year. Next slide. So these are your high dollar claimants. for the year, and we look back over 36 months because when renewals done, that's what the carriers look at on renewals. And so, as you can see, not a bad year, but you have had 7 claimants that have met your individual stop loss deductible. Granted, one of those was right at the $175,000 and $58. So that was a $58 stop loss ding. But with your stop loss, as you can see, I think the big thing to highlight there is you're looking at recovering almost $1 million from your stop loss claims this year.
Okay. I'm running the numbers, the difference, Anna, between 79.96 per employee per month to the 9108. And if I don't even know how many members for sure we have an insurance program, but I used 1,000. That's $133,000 increase. Are you saying, and I would like to hear Anna's thought on it, as far as the different stop loss amounts, what she feels comfortable looking back at the last 3 years. Anna, are you saying the 79.90 or the staying at the 175 is reasonable, or how do you feel about going up to the 225 at 79.96, keeping it the same and saving 133,000, and then you factor that back into what our losses have been to determine how that comes out? Is there a break-even point or a flash point on your recommendation?
I think it's a reasonable renewal staying as is. The exact amount of the increase is 138,778. So yeah, your estimate is right. The total covered amounts or employees is 1,040.
Okay.
And like Ty said, the break-even point is 4 more claims, and he's right. We can't guess on how many claims exactly we'll have in the following year. For example, 2023 was a really great year. You can see on Ty's slide there, we only had 3 claimants that went over the threshold. And this past year we had 7. So it is part of the reason for the increase that we're seeing at 13.9% renewal increase. And so there was another option, the $200,000, that is really just for information, so you see what that cost difference would look like. But if the county wanted to take a little more secure path and not risk higher claims, we could have more than 7 claims next year. We could stay where we are and take that $138,000 hit.
Sorry,
Go ahead, Ty. Go ahead.
I'd like to point out too, if you look at the slide there, even if you go up to the 200,000, 6 of your 7 high dollar claimants are above the $200,000 limit. So you'd still be probably looking around a magnitude of a 15% renewal if you were at the $200,000 level this year with that kind of loss ratio. So you would see essentially savings for this one renewal, but then we'd be back on the leverage trend model, and you'd have that additional risk that you've taken on by going up to the $200,000 limit.
And Ty, didn't you say that if we chose to go up, we probably would not have as competitive of bidding as we have this year? So we have to look at the cost down the road. It might cost a little bit more to stay where we're at, but it could cost more on a renewal.
Correct. So what I always recommend to clients, and what we see as a best practice, is we say raising that deductible is kind of like keeping our powder dry. You may have a year where everything, hopefully all employees stay healthy and everyone does all their preventive care and everything turns out great. But if we had a year where things went haywire and caught a bad renewal, that's a way we could go in and save money, is by increasing that deductible. If it really came down to dollars and cents and we had to make the numbers work and there were no additional funds. But like I said, that it's very hard to go back down because they have that 36-month look back, and so it's very hard to lower your individual stop loss deductible and get that competitive rate like where you are now.
Okay.
We haven't really discussed the other two areas, but those are all increases also. So those are in excess of $2,000 to $3,000 increase, which pales in comparison to the stop loss.
Can you go back up 2 slides, Anna, to where we have the renewals mapped out there? I just want to make sure the court gets a chance. Yeah. So you can see at $200,000, you'd be at about a 5% increase, and then going up $50,000 to $225,000, that would be a flat renewal for you. So you could potentially save about $50,000 this year in premium, but again, you're taking on additional risk in that regard.
And Commissioner, I think, were you talking about the
Custom
administrative service agreement?
I'm talking about the PHS 3.0 and the NaviGuard. Those are in excess of $5,000 increase for those two.
Yes, but what I failed to note on there, we're seeing an increase in prescription rebate credit of a little under 3%. So really, we're not expecting huge increases for the service agreement fees this following year. Ty, correct me if I'm wrong, but our ASA is not looking to have a huge impact next year.
Correct. That's correct.
So you're right. It really is just the decision on the stop loss. I'm recommending the ASA as they're presenting the renewal.
It's kind of like when gas went up to $3 a gallon, and I felt terrible, and it went down to $2.50, and I thought I was, felt really good about it. It's kind of like where we're staying below 15%, we're only at 13.98. Well, I feel good about that.
Well, and the key is just to make a decision this year that harms us next year.
Yeah. Yep, you're right.
Correct. And we will review this again next year. We look at stop loss every year. So, we'll certainly take a look at this again next year and see, we always try to negotiate the renewals down as much as we can. But UHC, and we agree with UHC's assessment, given your loss ratio, 13.9% is a pretty generous renewal. Again, we always recommend budgeting at least on a magnitude of 15% increase year over year. So we could live with this renewal, but again, we're going to take a look at it next year and make sure that y'all are in the best position again next year.
So Anna, the total for all three of these areas, somewhere around 143,000, give or take.
If you're including the ASA increase, yes, just because we can't give an estimate for the credit on prescription rebates.
I'm talking about strictly the increase on the $290 per employee per month to $309 per employee per month, and $450 to $475. And then added into this comes to about 143,000, correct?
That sounds right, sir.
Give or take.
Yeah, give or take.
Okay.
Other questions? Anything else, Ty or Anna?
No.
No, happy to answer any questions y'all might have.
Okay,
Good.
okay. What's the pleasure of the court?
So the recommendation is to leave it at 175, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So I would make a motion to approve the recommendation from both our group health expert and HR and leave our stop loss where it currently is at 175,000.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, there's a motion, second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Pass. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
All right. Okay, I'd like to go to M8. This is Greater Waco Chamber of Commerce Monthly Economic Development Report for September 2024. Morning, Chris.
Morning, Commissioner. Wanted to give you, we're bringing you your September report. Had a bit of travel that prevented us from being here couple of sessions. And so at the December 17th meeting, we'll have October and November reporting to get caught up for the year. Been a very successful year so far. When you look at where we are year-to-date through the end of September, we've exceeded all of our metrics for, that we track related to project and deal flow. So through the end of September, 613 new jobs announced, over 972,000 square feet of, all of this would be new construction into the marketplace, and $642 million worth of new investment announced. With the announcements that we had in October and November, that put us over another $1 billion of industrial investment for the year. So it has been a very, very good year for us in the community. And I just reiterate that these investments have been countywide, which is great too, because we're seeing a lot of diversity where it comes to the types of businesses that we're bringing in, but also where those investments are being made across the community too, which is a healthy thing for us to see. With that, the job numbers are strong for us as well, and the new construction and absorption of space is very strong too. So we'll have more details for you, a summary of that at the end of the year. When we look at the attraction inquiries, it is comparable to where we were last year, and I think I mentioned at the last meeting that we have seen a slowdown in leads coming in, primarily due to the I think a little bit of still of uncertainty about where the economy's going with interest rates and whatnot, but also with the election. And but we totally expect to see that picking up at the beginning of the year. All indications are that now that we know who's going to be in office, that things are going to be moving quickly. One interesting thing with the discussion around tariffs is that it's really likely that we will see more foreign direct investment into the United States, with those component manufacturers looking for ways to reduce that and to be competitive for their U.S. customers. So I would expect that that's going to be something that we're going to continue to push forward with and see more of in the marketplace. Our business retention expansion program is doing really well. I can tell you that Lexi has hit over 100 visits for the year. So that puts us back to, and she hit that last year too, but that puts us back to our pre-pandemic level of visits that we were having to. And with that, we're seeing more opportunities for expansions coming out of those visits with our existing businesses. So all of those things are really strong indicators for what's happening in the community and the economy. We're out and about more these days with travel, and I would anticipate that that's going to pick up even more next year with some new staff members that we'll be bringing on to the team, but then also just being more proactive in our efforts across the board and in some new industries too. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that y'all might have, but I would say, we're in a really good position as a community, and economic development is still very strong in the market.
Just an observation,
Yes,
I've
sir.
never seen this many cranes up in the air
Yeah.
at one time in McLennan County in my lifetime here.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize that Commissioner Wilson coming in was gonna make that much difference in the economy. You said the new administration.
Yeah. If you need a job in McLennan County and you're looking for a job and you don't find one, there's something wrong, because there's plenty of opportunities going on right now in this community, and the county and the cities are growing like wildfire, and it's exciting times for McLennan County.
I think there was an article about the company opening up out in Marina, the Greenleaf Company, the spinach company or whatever.
Yes, sir.
Is that
Bright
gonna be a-
Farms.
Is there gonna be a ribbon cutting on that? Have you seen any announcement?
I've not seen anything from the company yet, but I'll check with
They
them.
were talking about next Tuesday or something.
Okay,
The article did, but it never really said a ribbon cutting or anything.
okay, I'll touch base
I've
with them.
inquired, and it's like that's not, I don't know that this is a quote from them, but the lack of response was telling me that they just like to keep moving. They didn't ask for any incentives or anything.
Yeah, open up and just go, yeah,
Get
but
people excited about lettuce.
Well, it's a high-rise cabbage farm is what it is. So,
It's a very
Unbelievable.
unbelievable operation to watch that. And
Yeah.
they're churning out new crop every 6 weeks.
every 6 weeks, a new crop.
yeah.
And how big is the actual warehouse? 1.5 million square, do you remember?
The first building is 400,000 square feet, and then they'll build out.
2.5 million?
to-
Isn't that what they said, 1.5 million?
Yeah.
Wow.
But a very efficient, very automated, high-tech operation.
It's one,
Hydroponics.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
yeah. And they, their efficiency in water use is amazing.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, any other questions for Chris? If not, is there a motion to approve her report for recording purposes?
So move.
All right, is there a second?
I second.
All right, we have a motion second. Any other discussion? No discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chris.
Dustin, we've got about 5 minutes. Do you have something you can squeeze in there?
Yes, sir. If we could go to item M6, discussion and/or action regarding order prohibiting or restricting certain fireworks at unincorporated areas of McLennan County as needed. And I believe we have Ryan Durker for just a couple minutes. So this is one, it's for that Christmas and New Year's Eve period. If the court wants to prohibit fireworks during that time, we have to adopt this order prior to December the 15th. So Ryan, do you want to give your recommendation?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Judge Felton, Commissioners, good morning. As you were aware, earlier in the court, we reissued the burn ban because things are still awfully dry. There are parts of McLennan County that have a KBDI over 700, reminding the court that 800 is the maximum. That being said, when it comes to whether or not we should have fireworks, we're always cognizant of the fact that that impacts a lot of people, both economically and otherwise. We don't like recommending a full ban on those. And so at this point, there could be rain in the forecast. How much rain, we're not sure. A lot can change between now and then. So at this point, I think emergency management, after discussing it with our team, we're going to go ahead and not recommend a ban on the fireworks, to recommend that they can go ahead. We're going to keep an eye on things for the next several days and into the next week or so to see how conditions change. And worst case scenario, if conditions continue to be poor, meaning the dryness continues to take in, we'll be in touch with Dustin and Mike to kind of discuss some options that we may have to kind of limit our exposure. But at this point, emergency management is not recommending a ban on fireworks.
Pray for rain tomorrow and onward.
So then that's just no action? then?
No action.
No action, okay.
That's correct.
That's correct.
All right. Any questions anyone have? All right, thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to go into a recess, probably could be as much as 20 minutes, but if the program goes on a little longer than that, kind of keep an eye. We may have to come back in and get back going to be able to finish in reasonable time. So
Hear that?
it is 9:57, so let's recess.
Recording in progress.
Yes, it is.
Okay, it's 10:25. Let's call the court back into session. So Dustin, if you'll pick it up.
Yes, sir. If we can go back up to item F, bids, RFPs, RFQs. F1 is authorization of recommendations. These next three items are all ARPA related with some level of ARPA funding. So if the court's okay with purchasing recommendations and approves those, we have agreements for each of these items further down the agenda. So after we do those three, we can drop down and go ahead and approve those if the court is okay with that. So we'll start with item F1A regarding bid 24-014 Fern Valley Road Low Water Crossing Improvements. Purchasing is recommending awarding this project to Holy Contractors in the amount of $329,437.75. They submitted the lowest bid. Just wanted to point out, we had 400,000 plugged into the ARPA low water crossing bucket for this item. So this will free funds up for another project, which we'll touch on in a minute. And Zane is available if there are any additional questions on this one.
All right, any questions? Zane's here if anyone has any questions for him.
Ken not available? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Hang on.
Yes, but you'll have to sit on his knee.
Yeah. We'll have to see where he comes down from.
All right, Zane's on post here. Any questions?
It's We're not taking the alternate, just a straight up bid.
That's correct, sir.
Okay, okay.
All right,
And this, again, keep in mind, this is one of those deals that we ended up with this property basically through some adverse possession. And that's one of those things that we want to look at in the future before we accept any and every piece of property. And that's strictly on, we've got to be more diligent, so, but appreciate your efforts in this.
Thank you.
all right, any other questions?
No, sir.
What's the pleasure of the court?
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, have a motion second. Any other discussion? No discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass.
If we could hold F1B for just a second and go ahead and touch on F1C. F1C is regarding bid 24-021, Old Springfield Road, water improvements. The purchasing is recommending this project be awarded to Meckel Contracting for the sum of $169,728.60. They submitted the lowest bid, and for reference, we had $323,750 plugged into that ARPA water bucket. So Zane, anything additional you'd like to share?
Just that the lowest bid submitted was by JH Contracting, but they did not submit a bid bond, so their bid was incomplete. So then we go to the next lowest bid, which is by Meckel Contracting, $169,728.60. And their bid was complete, and it's recommended that they be awarded the contract.
Now, explain to me on JH again, what,
JH Contracting submitted a bid, but part of the bid is to have a bid bond, and they did not submit a bid bond.
huh,
So they have an incomplete bid. It was an oversight on their part, but that's not, that happens. It's not the first time.
okay. Not the first time with them, or with,
That's not what I meant to say.
Okay.
Just in the world of contracting,
Oh.
when they're scrambling to get their numbers put together.
Yeah.
and Then they'll submit their bid, try to get it in before the clock strikes the hour. And sometimes they're late. Sometimes they don't have a bid bond. Sometimes they didn't calculate correctly. There's many things that can make a bid not correct.
Bet you they're probably at their capacity and trying to get work down to get more capacity for bonding, so.
They understood, and they even mentioned it during the bid opening, that they did not have a bid bond.
okay.
They said, yep, we forgot it. It's back on the desk.
Who's the principal on that?
So the name is J.H. Jordan Holy.
Okay, hold it. Got it. All right, so, any other questions about, Zane's recommendation? What's the pleasure of the court?
Make a motion to approve the recommendation from our engineer to award this contract to Meckel Contracting.
All right,
Second.
motion made, second, any other discussion? No discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass. Thank you.
F1B is regarding LRFP 24-018, McLennan County ARPA HVAC renovation. We had two respondents, Lockridge Priest and HCS. Lockridge Priest was the highest scored. So I'm going to read purchasing recommendation. This one came in over what our original estimates and what we had plugged into ARPA. So I know TJ wants to kind of touch on the necessity of this entire project, and then Francis has some options to present the court on being able to cover that additional amount. So purchasing is recommending the award of RFP 24-018 for the McLennan County ARPA HVAC renovations to Lockridge Priest. They submitted the best evaluated proposal with an average score of 95. The contract amount will be in the amount of $6,829,831 with an additional amount of $200,000 for a construction contingency. So TJ, would you like to address this?
Sure. So the court may remember when we started out with the ARPA projects, we set aside a $5 million package to cover the air conditioner units at 4 different facilities. Along the way, during the design of that project, we thought, here we are with a 30-year-old generator. We've wanted to get the jail facility on full generation power for years now. Let's put it in there and let's see where it falls out. So that 1.8 over that 5 million is kind of where that hits, and that's the justification behind it. You know, we've got a 30-year-old generator, the electronics on it are shot, they're no longer available, so if we did have something fail, we couldn't fix it or repair it. Mechanically, it's sound. I mean, thing's great, it's a Cummins, it'll run forever. But it's just that time with the electronics and all that. So I think we've found a little bit of funding. We could shift over that way to help ease it. So Francis, if
Yes, let me pull that up. Share my screen.
And I do want to say that that additional 5 million, as TJ mentioned, we did take part of that for the air purification project. So that had reduced that 5 million down to like a $4.5 million HVAC project. So
So, sorry, my thing's going slow. So, so this here is that 6.8 million plus the 200,000 contingencies. So total project being right over 7 million. And then like Dustin and TJ just spoke on, currently our ARPA allocation for this specific project was 4.5 million. So that leaves about 2.5 million that we need to fund. And so in order to fund that amount, here what I've done is I have some amounts there on the left that sum to that additional amount needed. And so when you go through those first 5 amounts, 5 lines, these are amounts that were already in ARPA that we could utilize. So the first one there was some unallocated funds we had in the low water crossing section. We had some unallocated funds in the air purification section. Patton Branch, the Patton Branch project was pulled from ARPA, so we have that allocation available. After the 2 bids that you just approved, we have 153,000 roughly remaining in Old Springfield, and then 70,000 remaining in Fern Valley. And so then we still, of course, need an additional amount. What we talked about is, and I know we've brought this to you a couple times and briefly chatted about it. We did receive about 1.8 million for hail damage to the roofs a year and a half ago. After those projects were done, we still had funds left in those proceeds. And so, it's right now sitting kind of in a sub-fund of the general fund. We can easily transfer that to a permanent improvement fund if you wanted to utilize those funds for something like this. And then the remainder we could use Fund 401, which is our permanent improvement fund. We have sufficient funds there. Tell me if I'm speaking loud enough. We have sufficient funds there in contingencies in Fund 401 that are not spoken for. So definitely a good use of those funds.
Okay.
There is one other option, and I think this is just a different way to look at it. Instead of you would still be utilizing these 2 amounts here for HVAC projects. We would use it though for the downtown jail HVAC project. That portion of the project. But what we would do is just we'd cover these 2 amounts here by using the ARPA allocation we had set up, or a portion of the ARPA allocation we had set up for the downtown jail HVAC. Both of those projects are, the need is there, it's been determined they're necessary. So it would just be what pool we would pull from first. We would still be using both pieces of those, of the funding here. We'd be using both sources of those funds for these types of projects. It would just be which one we pulled from for which. I'm leaning towards the option 2, and that is just because it keeps the project cleaner. It would be that all of the cost for this project would fall under ARPA. We're solidifying some of the thoughts on the generator and whether that, that is definitely allowable under ARPA. But that would, to me, be the easiest, cleanest way to move forward. Then, of course, that eats into the allocation for the downtown jail HVAC project, but then we would utilize these 2 pieces here just to cover that remainder. And tell me if that's not clear. It's a lot to put into words.
Any questions?
Utilizing the ARPA allocation that we're going to use for downtown guarantees us that we meet all of our deadlines, doesn't it? That's another advantage, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, I think it's a big one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it just keeps this one project all funding in one fund instead of piecemealing it out. We would make it work the same either way.
Yeah, left hand, right hand.
But we did want to point out too, that there is some remaining funds there from the roof projects. And so the insurance proceeds, which I think would be a fantastic use for those funds.
Yeah. So you prefer option 2?
We just think
I would.
accounting wise,
I like that better.
ARPA wise, that might be the best way to
I
go.
like option 2
I'm
better.
not gonna disagree with our accountant.
And so when we get to the bidding for the HVAC portion of the downtown jail, then we'll have these 2 pieces here, the 2 in blue, that we'll then utilize for that piece that we have used up for the other
Can you
project.
kind of give me a quick, I guess, information on what is Fund 401?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
For me, and I know these guys know it.
So in our tax rate, a portion of it is the M&O portion, the maintenance and operations, and then our INS, the interest in sinking for the debt service. The M&O portion, the majority of that we use to fund our general fund, our main operating account. But we can take a portion of that each year and put it into what we title 401, but it's the permanent improvement fund. And so that's what can sit, and it can build up each year, and we can use for permanent improvement type projects. Over the years, there's not been a substantial amount in that fund. We've been utilizing bond proceeds for some of these projects because they're big. But you'll see through the year the smaller permanent improvement type projects when we do a remodel of an office or trying to think of some examples, but that's how we will utilize Fund 401, permanent improvement.
Fund now, approximately.
So we have in contingencies that's unspoken for, we have about, I think it's right over 3 million. We have a large portion of it that's spoken for currently for the downtown jail.
Outside the 3 million.
Yes,
3 million
yes.
outside.
The 3 million is just what we say is in contingencies, not allocated to anything as of yet. And so that's what we could utilize later on for one of these projects.
Okay.
And we can talk through that in more detail whenever you are available.
Thank you.
And TJ, you referred to generator. You're talking about self-powered that kicks in if we lose.
Yes, sir.
That's, yeah, which we gotta have.
If
By
power's
law,
lost.
we gotta have it.
So we've got to have it, but right now we're just currently running life safety. So we've got a few lights throughout the building that are on there and a few plugs to keep the computer system up and going. This will allow us to put the heating system on there, the air conditioning system. I mean, we'll have a fully run facility when the power goes out.
We won't need the generators there. This whole.
We won't, but we'll likely keep it because we may end up utilizing it to put the kitchen on at some point in time. The kitchen right now isn't on generator power. So when the lights go out, they serve sack lunch, but
So the new one wouldn't cover the kitchen as well?
it could, and we could put that in there. There'd likely be a change order associated with it because we didn't have time to incorporate all that stuff in the main project. But yeah, definitely could.
Anybody can run it?
The generator?
No, it's digitized, I assume, and computerized.
Oh, it'll be a world's difference from what we have now. Yeah, it'll take yeah.
Okay.
Well, my question on the old one is, we end up with stuff sitting around forever.
Oh, yeah.
In the way, and we don't
Yeah.
use it. So that's probably a Caterpillar motor. What's in
It's
it?
Cummins.
Oh, it's a Cummins.
Yeah.
So, even though it's 30 years old, probably doesn't have that many running hours on it.
No, I mean, we replaced
It'd have a pretty good value.
Yeah, we replaced the radiator in it, I guess, 2 years ago. It's got a leaking water pump that we need to address at some point in time, but, it's 30 years old. It's got 1,200 hours on it. It's been cranked over 2,000 times because we have to transfer power at least once a month for jail commission.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's seen its day, but it's still a good unit.
So in 2021, when we had Erie, the jail temperature was dropping, and, so Major Armstrong called me and said, we got a problem. The jail commission said, if it gets down to 58 degrees, we have to move all inmates. I said, move them where?
Right, where you
the
gonna
hell are
put
you gonna move them?
Yeah.
But anyhow, so we were losing ground. That was unusual. In my lifetime, I hadn't seen anything that
Yeah.
severe, but for that long. But would this new system keep us in a temperature more appropriate?
Right, it would be just like the power's on. So as long as we don't lose gas, because we are gas fired as far as the heat concern out there.
Yeah.
as long as we don't lose gas, we can operate as normal.
Okay, and so that's a Atmos line that comes through there, yeah. And it's a pretty good sized line,
Yeah.
and I guess the winterization of it's up to date and all that, so.
Yeah, well, a portion of this project is replacing all the gas line on the roof. So our lines would be brand new from the get-go.
Okay, so let's, yeah, so they'll make sure that they're winterized to the extent that.
What year was that, Joe?
It's a hodgepodge, so I
yeah.
believe the original was early 80s, and then there's been some renovations throughout the years. We went from 2 wings to 3 wings to 4, so I mean, it's, yeah,
Jack Harlow.
it's a mess.
Jack Harlow came on later.
Yeah.
So this one, the Jack Harlow was not on this generator?
No, it
got
has its own generator. And we're looking at capacity tests right now to determine what all we can put on that facility to cover it more. And we think we can do some good things with it as well.
Yeah, okay. All right.
It was built in the mid-90s.
Yeah.
Because when I was working nights, you'd go there and get fed.
Yeah, I
Thanks to
remember.
the county, by the way, appreciate that back.
First, arrestee that I took around the loop,
Don't let that happen again.
the first, arrestee I took around the loop in my patrol car, he said, "Where are you taking me?" Because, we changed from downtown jail to out there, and they thought we were, going some route we shouldn't be going. So they knew, but, yeah, it was good days. I spent a lot of times on the old jail and at the new jail, so.
Okay, any other questions, comments?
It's pretty much turnkey then, right?
Yes, sir.
Not gonna have any more costs associated with it?
No, and it updates our system for the next 5 years, well, 5 to 6 years. So we'll have brand-new units on 4 facilities. I mean, our maintenance costs are gonna go down. We're not looking at replacing anything. This is gonna put us in a good place for quite a while.
Okay.
I like that.
Any other questions, comments?
I like that.
Not, what's the pleasure of the court?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have motion second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good deal.
All right, if y'all are okay, we'll drop down to those 3 agreements that are associated with those approvals. So we'll move to item K1C, authorization of agreement with Lockbridge Priest for McLennan County ARPA HVAC renovation project. And if it's okay, Judge, I'll just kind of step through each of these. We just had the discussion on them. K1D is authorization of construction agreement with Meckel Contracting for Old Springfield Road water system improvements. And K1E is authorization of construction agreement with Holy Contractors for the Fern Valley Road low water crossing improvements precinct 4 bid. And we've included all the required ARPA language in these documents, and so they are all recommended for approval.
Okay, if there's not any questions, is there a motion to approve K1, K1D and K1E?
C?
Sorry.
What do we approve?
Judge, it'd be
D and
C,
E.
D, and E.
D and E.
Did you say just D and E?
Sorry, C, D, and E.
Yeah, C, D, and
C,
E.
D and E.
Okay. All right,
Motion to approve.
I'll second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass. Thank you.
All right, moving back up to item G, contracts and local agreements. G1 is authorization of service order agreement with HOV Services for scanning of criminal district attorney felony records. I'd like to call on John Carter.
Possible, can we pull this from the agenda? We need to go back and do an RFP. We found out our amount got over the authorization.
Well, all right, what's that agenda number?
G1.
G1.
All right, pull, no action on G1.
All right, moving on to item G2 regarding the professional engineering services agreement with RPS Infrastructure, authorization of amendment number 1 for environmental consulting services for McLennan County bridge repair projects. Zane, I don't know if you have any new info to share. I will say that I reached out to Walker Partners just to see this is becoming standard. They're not experts in it, and they are relying on consultants to help them navigate the process as well. I've talked to Mike about it. Mike's one thought was didn't know if it's possible to seek any waiver just due to the exigency of the needed repairs. So that's something we're reviewing. So Zane, I don't know if you have anything to add this week or not.
I don't have anything else to add. I will say that on the other bridges, this fee and price and effort was built into their contract, so it wasn't really called out. It was in there, and so that's why we didn't really see it, and they're dealing with it now. But this one contract, it was not the full, we weren't sure if we were going to need it. THC, Texas Historical Commission, said that we did need this effort, and so that's why this additional effort and cost is being brought to the court.
All right, any questions?
Just another
Yeah, I know
fee
it.
to pay.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
How many bridges?
There's 7 bridges.
Seven.
So that's about
About $8,000
$8,000
a bridge
apiece,
is
which
what
is
it
not,
amounts to.
you know, it's not too bad, really.
If you say it real fast.
That's right.
And I'm assuming those fees go straight to the historical commission in all
Yeah.
likelihood.
No,
It's not too bad if you don't calculate, you don't get much value for it.
but they go to the.
They go to the consultant,
yeah,
and then the
RPS.
consultant will pay whatever
Pay
fee the historical,
Yeah, it's going to the state. And
They'll get some of it for sure.
they'll get some of it.
Yeah.
Okay. What's pleasure, court?
Motion to approve G2.
All right, I'll second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
G3 is authorization of memorandum of understanding with Moody Independent School District Police Department for communication and coordination with the McLennan County Sheriff's Office. Major Ives?
How are y'all doing?
Good.
This is a standard 37081G with Moody. We've done a few of these. Nothing is different from the previous ones. I'll put my standard caveat in there until we work the dispatch services out with the City of Waco and Frank Patterson. They are going to be on the contract for dispatch services. It is required by TCOL for them to get the license.
Okay.
So,
All right, any questions? If not, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any other discussion? No discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass.
thank you.
Thank you.
That was quick.
G4 is authorization of agreement for reimbursement for mental health counseling services with Heart of Texas Council of Governments for juvenile probation. This is an annual agreement between us and HotCog. HotCog has received a grant through the governor's office, which allows us to get reimbursed for mental health counseling and other services performed at juvenile probation. So we just need a motion to approve this agreement.
Okay, any questions? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Have a motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass.
G5 is authorization of agreement with Govey's auction for online auction portal for the tax office, and this is recommended to be deferred this week. We need to add a few other documents along with it.
Right, I'll make a motion, we defer.
Second.
Have a motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass.
G6 is regarding the second professional consulting contract addendums with Lockwood, Andrews, and Newman, authorization of professional services invoice for McLennan County water planning. This invoice totals $5,000 for professional services related to their water planning effort through the month of November. It's been reviewed and recommended for approval.
All right, any questions? If not, I'll make a motion, we approve.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass.
G7 is authorization of service agreement with Motorola Solutions for radio tower site maintenance for precinct 1, 2, and 4. The annual cost for this service is $24,283.40 and covers our equipment. We will be adding the Woodway Tower location and precinct 3 in the future. We're going to have Frank Patterson help us under the new consulting agreement. And the reason they will be added later is 1, 2, and 4 were completed first, and that equipment came online sooner. So we need to go ahead and get this service agreement approved, and we'll bring those others back.
Okay. All right, any questions?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass.
G8 is authorization of sales order agreement, service agreement, and related addendums, amendment documents with CTWP for Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service copier. Visited with Ken, and this is a replacement copier. You'll see that it's a lease price with maintenance is $228.07 a month. Been reviewed and recommended for approval.
Okay, any questions?
What, I don't understand, Dustin, the difference between the 22807 and down here 16087 supplementary schedule. are those, is that included in the 228, or is that added to the 228, or how does that work?
Let me look at that, Commissioner, and see if I can figure it out real quick. Commissioner, I'm not seeing it in the paperwork. If we want to hold it till later in the agenda, and I can try to get a message to Misty or Ken and try to get an answer, whatever your preference.
Why don't you see if you can get an answer? We'll hold.
Okay. We'll hold G8 for now. All right, moving down to item G9, authorization of professional services agreements and related constructions, materials testing proposal with Langerman Engineering. G9A is regarding Fern Valley Road low water crossing improvements proposal, and G9B is Old Springfield Road water system improvements proposal. Zane?
So with each construction project, there's field testing that's required and is necessary. And so these two proposals from Langerman Engineering will have a not to exceed price for the testing that is required and may need to be required based on field conditions. So these proposals have been reviewed and are recommended for approval.
Okay, any questions?
When you say required, who requires it?
The project requires it. So if we went out there and we took some testing, and let's say we did a density test, and it's not dense at all, they didn't get compaction, the road's not compact, we don't want to accept that. We want them to continue working until they meet density. So those are that's a density test that's required, just required for us to meet our standards.
And the same way with, I was looking more at the old Springfield. So we're talking about when we fill back on the backfill?
Yes, sir.
That we're going to require it to be to a certain.
That's correct.
Density, okay. And because we're doing this and Waco's going to take it over, Waco doesn't have anyone that can do that in-house that can?
No, sir.
Okay.
They do the same thing we do. We hire a
third party. Okay.
That's what they do for a living.
I find it interesting that on both reports, they have a report charge to issue the report to us. So I guess if we didn't pay that, they just wouldn't give us a report?
That's correct. I get an email, every time they do a test, I get a copy of their test report.
And that's a charge on that?
Right. Normally, they used to give it to us in paper, now we get it in PDF, and so we save it to the project folder. Should there be some discrepancy or problem in the future, we can go back and review the reports, and we have a copy of them.
All right, any questions? What's pleasure, court?
Motion to approve.
All right, that motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass.
Thank you.
Thank you.
G10's ratification of addendum to interlocal cooperation agreement with Falls County for housing and care of inmates. Major Ives?
We were contacted by the Texas Commission on Jail Standards and notified us of a situation where Falls County was having issues with their staffing and couldn't meet minimum standards. They requested that we assist them by housing some inmates for them temporarily. We have a contract with Falls County. It was kind of an emergency situation. They said those people have to be gone XYZ number of days. We had a contract, it had lapsed in the last year, so this is just basically re-upping that contract to the current year. The rates are the same that we charge the feds and every other contract that we have. There is no disparity in the price. Falls County's got to pay the same thing that Liberty County and U.S. Marshal Service, everybody else pays. So that's what this is for.
Okay.
Okay, any questions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
There's a motion, second. No other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, pass.
G11 is authorization of agreement statement of work with Birch Klein Cybersecurity for network penetration testing services. John?
Yes, this item is, excuse me, this item is to have a third party test our cybersecurity defenses, which are done by our primary vendor, Synary. This is in the budget and it is recommended for approval.
Okay. Questions?
I would say very important.
Yep.
Yes.
Absolutely. Motion to approve G11.
A second.
Have a motion second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
G12 regarding the software as a services agreement amendment with Tyler Technologies, authorization of conversion services quote with Enterprise Public Safety. John?
Yes, this item is a change order. Because we're doing some of the projects at different times, we had to add one more data dump, so to speak. So this is to create the data archive from our current system, it's EDOC. And we have to do an initial one, and then when the system goes live, when the jail manager goes live, we have to do another data dump, which added $5,120 to the overall cost of the project. This has been looked at by the steering committee and approved, and this is part of the project one-time costs. So this will actually be coming out of the sheriff's office forfeiture fund anyway, not the general fund.
That makes it easier.
Motion to approve.
All right, have a motion, I'll second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass.
Thank you, John.
Right, moving down to item H, capital improvement and construction projects. H1's regarding hail damage roof repairs, quote from Clark Roofing, authorization of change order number 1. TJ?
Yes, so when the skylights finally came in, they went and pulled the old existing units and found that the flashing had deteriorated underneath them. So that's kind of leaving us susceptible to water leaks. So, you know, we've got a brand new roof now, we got brand new skylights, we definitely want to take care of that flashing. So this is just kind of to cover that. There were no contingencies set up in that project from the beginning, so this will probably pull from that 700 that we've got left, but yes, we recommend it for approval.
So just the flashing's $20,000, almost $21,000.
There's a lot of skylights. We had, oh gosh, I think there's 20-something altogether.
Yeah.
And if you can picture them, they're all pyramid skylights. They're all custom made out in South Texas. I mean, there's a lot of work to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just take $21,000 away from our generator?
Yeah, so we'll adjust those numbers. We'll play with those numbers.
Tell them we'll trade them a used generator.
There you go.
Right.
All right, any questions? Any other questions? All right, sound like we need, I'll make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
Have a motion second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
H2's regarding Chapel Road improvements, bid 23-013, agreement with Kasperian Underground, doing business as H&B Contractors, authorization of change order number 2. Zane?
Yes, sir. So this is a change order number 2. The amount for the water line is $15,963.24. The amount for the roadway portion is $46,414.30, for a total adjustment of $62,377.54. There are no changes, additional or negative changes to the time. And these are items that were discovered during the construction of the job. And so we wanted to take care of it now rather than let them all build up to the end of the project and then try to do one big change order. So that's what we're doing, and we're paying for it with the contingency dollars that are already built into the project. So the change order number 2 has been reviewed and is recommended for approval.
All right, any questions?
There are 2 of those items that are covered by Waco, right?
There are some items that are covered by Waco's water line.
Yeah.
There's, I believe, 3 of them, an addition
Okay.
to a 2-inch water service tap, removal of 2-inch high-density polyethylene service tubing and 2-inch bullhead water service.
Okay.
And then the third one is field connections for the uninterrupted water service.
Okay. All righty.
All right,
Motion to approve.
All right, thank you.
Second.
Have a motion second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass.
Right, moving on to item I, budget amendments. I1's regarding the FY24 budget. Francis?
Yes, so for 2024, starting with I-1A. I-1A is in the general fund for the district attorney. The request is to move within that department into professional services for remaining costs for 2024. I-1B, this is in the general fund, JP11, just needing to move within that department into postage and shipping for cost for fiscal year 2024. I-1C in general fund, JP12, also needing to increase the line for postage and shipping for 2024. The request is to move within that department's budget. I-1D, this is general fund, tax office, specifically property tax side. They are requesting to move within their department to cover just some minor increases there to other services and charges and travel reimbursement for 2024 within that same department. I-1E, this is general fund, road and bridge 2, requesting to move within that department into other services and charges for an invoice incurred in September. And then I-1F, this is general fund, sheriff's office, also, of course, for 2024, but requesting to move within that department into other services and charges for an invoice related to one of the canines. And then I-1G, this is, we're needing to accept or record the statement of financial position for CSCD adult probation. So this is for the grant year. The grant year ends August 31st, 2024. So we have that on there as well for recording purposes. So do you want to go ahead and approve
Yes.
I-1A through G?
Yes. If there's no questions, is there a motion to approve those?
So moved.
I have a motion, second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, pass.
And then so the next four are for 2025, our current fiscal year. So I-2A, this is general fund, countywide road and bridge. And these are funds that were budgeted. We are just spreading them to very specific projects. So you'll see there that we budgeted money in the line item for infrastructure, bridges. We've spread that to Trading Post, Holy Road, East Rainier, and Fern Valley. And these are remaining budgets that were ongoing at the end of last fiscal year. I-2B, this is Fund 418. This is our venue project construction fund. On one of the last agendas, you approved a reimbursement request to Heart of Texas Fairgrounds for some additional work that needed to be done on the amp at the base. And so this budget amendment will cover that repair. I-2C, this is Fund 421, 2021 bond proceeds. This is related to an approval you made in court early in November, and we are moving money to the line specific for South Old Bruceville Road.
Now,
for BGE.
We're still ARPA, trying to get that built under ARPA, South Old Bruceville Road, right?
No, sir, and I'm sorry, I see Zane coming up.
Say what?
So if there's money left over, because I know we'd already discussed an item about moving ARPA money for the HVAC, and I would say if there's money left over, we'll use it on the South Old Bruceville Road low water crossing project.
Okay. Okay. All right.
But Commissioner, I think it's kind of going back to, like you stated earlier, it's, which pocket does it come out of? And so with knowing that the HVAC was coming in over that budgeted or the amount we thought it was, we thought it was best to shift that to that project, then also to the downtown jail.
Okay. Thank you.
And then that was I-2C. I-2D is general fund JP4. The judge is requesting to purchase a desk and related pieces through furniture and equipment, then also needs to increase repair and maintenance. This, to give you a little more information on this specific request, the need has been there for them to replace a desk, a needed desk there in their office. He missed the cutoff for budget this past summer, and so he's requesting to go ahead and do that now. There is funds, he's asking to move from language translation in his department. He had budgeted some there, but we also have a special revenue fund for language translation. It looks like they will have enough in that special revenue fund to cover his costs for the year, so he shouldn't need to tap into the general fund line in his department. And so that's why he's requesting to move from that line in his department into furniture and equipment, and then also moving from professional development to accommodate the remainder.
And he reached out this morning, we heard from him. This is to cover a new position he added in 2023. We also, TJ did an office renovation in '24, and the office furniture that was previous there did not fit in the office. So they've had to makeshift different pieces that would fit to create a desk for the crowd. The request is for the desk that will fit into the newly created office that matches the rest of the office furniture in the building. So it's a priority, obviously, but I know do you guys want any additional explanation on this? It sounds like he just didn't get everything into the budget timely, and I don't know that we punish an employee for a year waiting on that.
No, I don't want to punish anyone, and they do a good job out there, so.
Yeah. So anyway, with that being said, I'd make a motion to approve.
All of them?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, I have a motion, second, any discussion? No discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass.
All right, we have nothing under item J this week. Moving on to item K, grants, grant proposals. K1 is our ARPA discussion. On the December 17th agenda, we will have the first interim guaranteed maximum price from Irwin Construction on the Judicial Center project, and that will obligate the remainder of the ARPA funds. Moving on to K1A is regarding the professional services agreement with BKD. Authorization of grant management service invoice through October. This invoice totals $5,519.70. It has been reviewed and is recommended for approval.
All right, any questions on that? If not, is there a motion to approve invoice from Forbes?
So moved.
I have a motion, I'll second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, pass.
K1B is authorization of legal services invoice from Haley and Olson for ARPA matters for the month of October 2024. It totals $940 and has been reviewed and recommended for approval.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, pass.
Right, moving down to item K2 regarding the rural law enforcement grant, Senate Bill 22, discussion and or action regarding allocation of funds for the sheriff's office. Major Ives?
I don't know if you give me 1 second, my computer decided to die, that this item came up.
Do you want to use mine?
No, it's.
You gonna be able to talk without that computer?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
So the options that are listed on the document that got attached in court, basically boils down to body armor, vehicles, medley of the two, and then the other portions of that are going to be covering the offset for the salary restructure for our office. So there is a potential environment in which a portion of that money is not necessary to shore up the salary structure because of the delay in implementing it. So we do have the contingency of weapons and vehicles, which are easy to fill towards the end once Francis makes that determination, or the auditor's office, makes that determination. Our highest priority is always going to be fleet vehicles. We suffer on fleet vehicles. We have 154 conveyance style vehicles, 190 something if you include trailers, helicopters, four-wheelers, all the other vehicles that we have in our fleet. So we have quite a few of them that are high mileage. And for my personal or professional with the department opinion is that those vehicles are the highest priority that we have to get those things swapped out. They're the biggest liability, the biggest cost to the county. They're a maintenance nightmare. They're a response nightmare. So it helps us the most to go with the vehicles. And that would be option 4, which is the split between salary survey and vehicles. And then as the year rolls on, whatever the auditor determines is unnecessary to shore up the salary structure, we can expend that on firearms and ammunition. The one thing we can't do, the only option that gets moved off the table because it's time gated is going to be anything that is body armor or shield related. So those safety options that you have, I believe it's option 1, are not going to be an option unless we do those options immediately. Because of the lead time on those, there's no way we can get those if we don't order them in the next 30 days. So it's a high priority option, but it's very time gated, whereas the vehicles are a little bit easier, and the weapons are a little bit easier too. They're regular stocked items.
Questions?
Okay, if I remember from SB 22, you can't supplant, but you can supplement.
Correct.
Correct. So we're talking about the money that's coming to us this year,
Yes, yes.
in 2025. So the money, well, we've already adopted the new salary schedule. So we want to make sure that money is available for that first. And then what we have left over is what we're looking to spend in some of these other areas.
That's option 4, correct?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Every option is that, Commissioner. Every option is
Takes care of
saying,
the salary
take
first.
the salary structure first, and then whatever is additional, spend on either firearms, vehicles, or ballistic shields, which are all specifically enumerated in the
Just to
code.
remind, and I know with Commissioner Wilson, you know, not being in those discussions either, in the summer when we adopted the budget, there was an estimate put in there for the new salary schedule changes for the sheriff's office. After the budget was adopted, you know, just in the last couple of months, there have been changes made to that plan, to that policy, which increased that amount needed. And so that increase is the portion that we would use Senate Bill 22 to cover.
Which is legal.
Yes, sir.
Well, those
Yes.
increases.
Yes.
Beyond what was originally
Yes, sir.
approved, okay.
Yes, sir.
Not budgeted for.
Yeah.
Okay. Other questions? All right.
You recommend option 4, correct?
So option 4 is just the most flexible option, right? That doesn't mean that these other options are not viable. I think that option 2 is also very viable. It's a
What do you
straight.
recommend?
I would say go with option 4 just for the flexibility, but option 2 is also a perfectly fine option as well. Basically, option 2 is saying that if you have the fleet, you're going to get the vehicles, and then you'll keep the money in your pocket for the salary structure. If it's whatever portion of it's needed is needed, whatever portion is not, then we could spend on ammunition and firearms, or if we find other vehicles on short notice, which we've been able to do, but it's not ever a guarantee.
But option 4 gives us a salary structure and then any of the above options
It's just
available.
anything.
It just rolls them all in.
Makes the most sense.
But most likely, the vehicles are, I just want to be transparent in saying that the fleet is the highest priority for us, other than the salary structure, of course. The salary structure is number 1.
Okay,
I make a motion to approve option 4.
all right.
Second.
Have a motion, second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, pass.
All right, thank y'all.
All right, moving on to item K3 regarding the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services Title IV grant contract, authorization of Title IV Child Welfare Services claim for quarter ending September 30th, 2024. Francis, I'll go ahead and do K4 as well.
Thank you.
K4 is regarding the Texas Department of Family Protective Services Title IV grant. This is authorization of Title IV legal assistance claim for quarter ending September 30th, 2024. Francis?
And so, not much more to say other than what Dustin had shared, but these are the quarterly claims for Title IV, both child welfare and legal assistance. That's it.
Questions?
Looking good.
Is there a motion to approve?
So move. K3 and K4.
Okay. All right, I'll second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass.
Moving down to item L, Department Office Specific Request. L1 is Specialty Court, authorization of order accepting donations. There is a donation for treasury box items that needs to be accepted for Specialty Court, and I'm just in motion to accept that donation.
So move.
All right, motion, I'll second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass.
L2 is Road and Bridge Precinct 2, authorization of Facebook page request. Commissioner Wilson?
Well, I believe in Facebook, and it's just a free object for us. I've looked at some other precincts in different counties and things, and I think it would be a great attribute to show what we're doing in precinct 2, because we're playing catch-up. And I'm using my personal Facebook now, but I think it would be a fortitude for our commissioners to let us have a Facebook page.
Would it be free if it's more, not a personal? Y'all, anybody know?
They're a little bit
Would be.
weird on politics.
So, yeah, Heather's got one. So if so political is one thing.
Right.
Right.
But reporting on what's going on, I don't know. Just make sure, Dustin, if you would, check that out. But Heather's doing it.
The only thing is when you create a business page, essentially, you have to have a personal page. So we ended up having to create like a mock personal page to then have.
Right.
Does that make, am I?
Yeah, you have to have someone's personal page managing your business page. You
Yes.
can't have one person assigned to the business page.
Got you.
You have to have other Facebook pages managing them.
Right.
But also, I would mention that for open records and such, we need to have those into our archive social as well, so that it archives all the conversation that happens on your Facebook page. That's for Texas Opens.
Right.
Okay, so I recommend that Commissioner Wilson and Tracy and Dustin and John get together and figure out, let's don't get anybody in jail.
No.
Generally, if Heather does it, it's always right, and so I generally go that way.
The only reason I say that is she's not a political figure.
Right.
Yeah, she's not elected, that's right.
You are, so that
That's a
might
good
be
point.
the only drawback.
Good point. You want on the committee? Okay, yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah, but I think it's a great idea in communicating with your constituents and the people that are, ultimately paying the taxpayer. Good idea to keep them informed.
All right.
And also our website also is a good place to put information, and you can always link.
Yeah, that would be good, but a lot of people don't go to our county
Yeah.
website. I do, but a lot of folks out in the real world, they don't do that, so.
They do go to Facebook.
They do go to Facebook.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, sound like a plan.
thank you.
Well, I would make a motion subject to getting this group all together, this brain trust, to get together and get this done. And so that's a motion.
Second.
All right, I have a motion second, any discussion? No discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass.
All right, moving on to item M. M1 is authorizations regarding the McLennan County Christmas event, including approval of orders for acceptance of donations, approval ratifications of purchases, and related matters. We have 2 donations we need to accept this week. Those are in your packet. And then TJ or Francis, anything else to add?
No, I think that's it. I think that those were the last that we had come in. So I would remind everybody, come by tomorrow, get your barbecue plate and sausage link, chips and a drink. That'll be our last fundraiser for the year. So we've kind of met where we need to be, and we're in good shape.
Sounds good. Sound like a bargain.
Thank you guys for taking that on. too.
Yeah. That's a great team effort by the employees and led by the department heads, might say. Okay, so on M1, if there's not any questions, is there a motion to approve?
So move.
All right, second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
M2 is regarding the McLennan County Local Provider Participation Fund. There's 2 IGTs here. I'll go ahead and read them both in for Heather. M2A is authorization of intergovernmental transfer of funds derived from the County Healthcare Provider Participation Fund. This is under the Hospital Augmented Reimbursement Program, the HARP program. Then M2B is under the Uncompensated Care UC program. Heather?
Yes, so the first, as Dustin said, is for the HARP Federal Fiscal Year 2023 Retroactive IGT with a due date of Monday, December 16th, a settlement date of Tuesday, December 17th. And the second is for an additional funding opportunity that presented for the Uncompensated Care Demonstration Year 9, which was 2020, with a due date of December 12th and a settlement of December 13th. And we're asking to be able to IGT up to the balance in the LPPF on the day of transfer.
Any questions? All right,
Make a motion to approve.
all right, I'll second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. Thank you.
M3 is authorization of Texas Association of Counties Total Loss Offer, auto. This is under attack, RMP claim. Francis?
So yes, this is an offer from TAC for a 2020 Chevrolet Tahoe that has been totaled. The total offer is the $39,039.37. And so a portion of it being the vehicle and then a portion of it being the equipment that was on the vehicle as well.
Okay, any questions?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
M4 is discussion and or action regarding the Road and Bridge retreat meeting. We just have this on the agenda in case there's any discussion or approvals needed. This will be held next on December the 11th at the Emergency Management Training Room. I know the agenda is being worked on. I think we plan to post it tomorrow or Thursday. So just in case there's any approvals needed.
Yeah, any ideas anyone have for agenda items, put them on there. And if there's, of course, I won't be there, but if there's items that do not get covered and you want to push it to the next time they meet, that's fine too, so.
And I think, are we good on the agenda? I know we've been putting some things together. Are you familiar?
Precinct 2 may add an item or two, depending on Commissioner's and myself.
Okay.
Okay. All right, and I think that'll be a fruitful meeting, and so, all right. We just need action on that.
No action.
Judge, I don't think anything's needed. Is the intent to do lunch for the retreat as well?
Yes.
And so Francis, we can just bring that after the fact, right?
Yes, that will be just fine.
Okay.
Okay, so Judge, no specific action is needed.
All right. Thank you.
All right, we'll go on to item M5, authorization of McLennan County Historical Commission 2025-2026 appointments. Those appointments are listed in your packet, and we just need to have these back to the Historical Commission by the end of the month. So they are recommended for approval.
Okay.
Motion to approve the appointments to the McLennan County Historical Commission as listed.
Is there a second? Second. All right, that motion second. Any other discussion? No discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
I believe that's all the action items with the exception of that CTWP item G8. And I have sent a message. I believe Misty is looking, trying to get the answer right now. I've looked at the order agreement and I'm unclear. I don't know what the preference of the court is.
I don't want to hold it up because they need it, so if we can go back to it, Judge, my motion would be to approve it.
Okay.
We'll get clarification later.
Okay, and if you want, we can approve it subject to your review, so you can look at it and review.
Subject to Dustin's review.
Okay. All right, that sounds good. So there's a motion to approve that item with subject to Dustin's review. And I will second that. Any other discussion? No discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. All right. Is there any?
I'm sorry to interrupt. It's Anna. I just want to confirm E3A from the consent agenda. I heard the consent agenda being approved, but I don't know if E3A was pulled or.
It was approved as part of the consent.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. And then, and the only other pull was E10A, and we deferred it.
Correct.
All right. Saves anything else?
Nothing else.
Okay. All right, if there's nothing else to come before the court, well, we stand adjourned.